Hello and welcome to Gar1onriva's Top 5. Today I'm going to be talking about my top 5 Mega Pokémon. This was voted for by supporters of my Patreon, linked in the description. I was a bit out of the loop when Mega Pokémon were introduced in Gen 6, and when I first tried them in Alpha Sapphire I wasn't impressed. They seemed to me to mostly be to enhance competitive play and not to really fit into the Pokémon world, but despite that there are some I like. 3 things to remember. First of all, these are my personal opinions, so please don't tell me I'm wrong. And as I've barely used any, these are the ones that I've seen. Also, I'm not really into competitive play, so I'm barely taking their impact on that into account. Number 5. Mega Gardevoir. I'm quite fond of Gardevoir. It's a pretty Pokemon, you get it early, and it has some powerful moves. But when I first saw its Mega, I wasn't impressed. However, it has grown on me. The design in particular I like. It's like a ball gown, and I'm a massive fan of formal wear. Still not 100% sure what the spike through the chest is. I mean, I didn't understand what it was when it was just on Gardevoir, but when it's split into 2, God knows. It also has consistent typing with Gardevoir, which is a big irritant I have about Megas, that they change the typing. Also, its ability, Pixelate, is really cool, in which all normal moves are treated as Fairy type. This allows a tactical curveball without being too overpowered. Number 4. Mega Rayquaza. Of course, I played the Delta episode in Alpha Sapphire, which got me a Rayquaza, so therefore I did get to try out Mega Rayquaza. What I like about its design is that it expands on what Rayquaza already is, but makes it look more fearsome, and it really looks like a powerful mythical being. Add to that its typing is the same as the original brand Rayquaza, and I can't complain. Its only downside, however, is its ability. Rayquaza's airlock ability is designed to negate Groudon and Kyogre's weather abilities. Basically, while Rayquaza is there, Groudon and Kyogre's abilities have no effect. However, from my understanding, this isn't quite true with Mega Rayquaza and the Primals. Mega Rayquaza's Delta Stream ability only stops the Primal weather abilities if Rayquaza appeared second. However, if you send out Primal Groudon or Primal Kyogre after Rayquaza, then Desolate Land and Primordial Sea will override Delta Stream. I highly suspect that this is a competitive balance, but it just doesn't make sense to me. Rayquaza should override them no matter what, basically. Number 3. Primal Kyogre. Okay, this one's technically not a Mega Pokemon, but I'm lumping them in together. I've always preferred Kyogre to Groudon, but this decision was made easier by Groudon's type changing when it turns Primal. When Megas, or in this case a Primal, changes its type, like Groudon going from Ground to Ground Fire, it feels like they're fixing a mistake, in inverted commas, or, just bowing to public opinion that Groudon should have been a Fire type from the beginning. You don't get this issue with Primal Kyogre, it stays pure water just as it always should be. Its ability is also consistent. It's a more powerful version of Kyogre's Drizzle. Not to mention that it isn't as overpowered as Primal Groudon's. Desolate Land disables all water moves, which are the thing effective against Primal Groudon's dual type. Primordial Sea, however, nullifies fire moves, which are ineffective against Kyogre, but it still fits. Oh, and it's a beautiful Pokemon. The colours are striking and stark, and incorporating the Alpha icon is very clever. Primal Kyogre is probably my favourite legendary, both in design and in just everything about it, and it was a vital part of my team in Alpha Sapphire. Number 2. Mega Sableye. I loved this when I first saw its design. Sableye's okay, but its Mega takes it up to the next step. The change from bluey gems to red is striking, and hiding behind a giant gem is very cute. However, they also maintain the slightly creepy, mischievous vibe that Sableye's always had. It of course has the same typing, and the new ability it has is very fitting. Magic Bounce, while this is a stupid name, reflects stat-lowering moves back on the user. It makes sense to me that the giant gem reflects things back as a defense mechanism. I admit that I didn't look into stats much for this list, because like I said, I don't really play competitive, so I didn't really want to go too deep into that. But I felt the need to check Sableye's. And as I hoped, its defense and special defense are much higher as Mega Sableye. With the fitting type, ability, stats, along with the great design, Mega Sableye had to be my number 2. And finally, number 1. Mega Absol. I've never really been a fan of Absol. It's okay, but its design's a bit meh, and Gen 3 had Poochyena so much earlier if you want a pure dark type. Mega Absol, however, may just be the prettiest Pokemon there is. Its design is stunning and very thematic. Absol's tragedy from the beginning is that it senses natural disasters before they happen, and then when it tries to warn people of them, it gets blamed for them instead. Mega Absol's design fits this to a T by combining angelic and demonic imagery. It has a big horn and a little horn, beautiful white wings but a dark jagged tail, soft-looking fur but sharp claws. It keeps Absol's pure dark typing, but the important thing is really the design. It may sound shallow, but I love its design so much that alone won it first place. And that's my list. Comment with your favourite Mega Pokemon as well as suggestions for future top and bottom 5s. Remember that you can vote for next month's top 5 by pledging to my Patreon linked in the description. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you later.